G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. We have an audience of swamp wallabies and kangaroos. And I thought it might be time to have a kind of a mad scientist movie. I thought it would be time to have a really good conspiracy movie. Yeah? Now there's a conspiracy going around at the moment which says that the New South Wales Liberal government is so far in bed with the fossil fuel lobby, the oil lobby, the coal lobby, the electric power supply industry, that they have actually outlawed all private small-scale research into alternative energy and free energy, anything that would use small, powerful, permanent magnets. Anybody who wanted to build their own wind turbine using neodymium boron magnets from China, for example, but bought through JCAR or some other importer, nope, not in New South Wales. You're not allowed to have small, powerful magnets in New South Wales. And the government story is that they're not trying to stifle alternative energy research or research into free energy for the benefit of the oil companies. Their story is somebody fed magnets to their babies. Not just one magnet, but a couple of magnets, and not close together so the magnets could meet up early, but over a period of time, several hours. So the magnets were in different loops of the baby's intestine when they found each other inside the kid's abdomen. And they were strong magnets, so they put enough pressure on the abdominal or the intestinal wall that no blood supply was possible between the two magnets, so that bit of tissue died and then eventually went rotten and fell out, and then the plumbing leaked and the intestinal contents got into the kid's abdominal cavity and the kid got peritonitis and septicemia and died. And it wasn't as if it was just one person feeding two magnets to their baby. There was teenagers as well, because some people won't let their kids have pierced ears. Therefore, a market grew up for magnetic earrings. Two strong magnets either side of the earlobe, one of them with a decoration on, looks like an ear piercing. And the kids whose parents wouldn't let them have pierced tongues, they decided to take the magnetic earrings, put them on their tongues, and then have the magnets get dislodged later on during the day when they forgot they were there and they tried to eat something. So teenagers as well were perforating their intestines with small magnets, says the government. But there are some people who say that that's not all of the story. They say the government is actually trying to prevent people from discovering that if they get magnets and put them around the edge of a flywheel and get other magnets and put them circumferentially surrounding the flywheel, then the magnets will all repel each other and the flywheel will spin, and you can then attach something else to the flywheel and you can make your own free electricity with permanent magnets, running a permanent magnet free energy generator. So, despite the fact that it's against the law to have magnets in New South Wales, for the edification of all you swamp wallabies, as well as kangaroos, at some legal risk and no expense whatsoever, I have gone and taken a knife to an allegedly therapeutic, allegedly medically valuable pillow case which was sold replete with globs of hot glue restraining pot magnets. They're called pot magnets because you mix them up in a pot of polyester resin and ferrous dust, and you put it in a strong magnetic field and you wait for the resin to go off and you wind up with a strong magnet. So I got 31 of them, and as you can see, they attract and they repel. So this means that I've got a supply of illegal magnets with which to conduct the apparently banned research for your edification, swamp wallabies. Okay, in your minds, just imagine a fanfare, da-da-da-da-da-da. And we have the Aerophysics Engineering Research Options, Hillbilly Enterprises, Magnetic Flywheel Test Rig number 1. And as you can see, it started life as a centrifugal 7-bladed compressor, an air pump. And I have equipped each vane with a wedge of foam styrene, hot glued into place, and 2 pot magnets with the north faces exposed to the air, organised so that the allegedly propulsive, repulsive lines of force coming off the north face are tangential to the circumference. Okay? So, in theory, this thing should drive itself. And we take our stick of pot magnets. Oh, look, see, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. It's not moving. So we try again. Why isn't it moving? Oh, look, that's an even better angle to show it. Not moving. Well, what happens if we give that a spin and we hold our pot magnets in our hand a long way away and we see how long it takes to spin down? Takes a while, doesn't it? It's a really good bearing. Okay, now let me show you what's on the other side. Here on the other side we have a 38 watt 240 volt alternating current electric motor, which is connected to nothing. I've purely got it because it has such a lovely bearing. Admittedly, you get some aerodynamic loading because it's got its own cooling fan there, but the major effect is that it allows me to place our stick of magnets exactly at the same height as the axis of the magnets here. And we'll see what we see. Well, that's not going to power the world's cities, is it? Let's see what happens if we bring it in from this side and I support it with my finger so that the magnets can't move. You see, what's happening is that the north face here is repelling that north face there, but it's much closer to the south face, which is on the other side of the aluminium and foam styrene. So it's faintly possible, perhaps, that if the repelling north face is up here, we may get into a situation where we get propulsion instead of cogging. At least that's the WIBNIF. WIBNIF stands for Wouldn't It Be Nice If Fantasy. So it is perhaps faintly possible that if the lines of magnetic force, instead of being tangential to the circumference, if they were splayed out at 45 degrees, then maybe, perhaps, we could achieve enough mechanical separation that we don't get this cogging going on, wherein the north and the south are much closer than the north and the north, and therefore what we've got is a magnetic induction gearbox. And unless you've got some external power source ready to move the outside magnets, you're not going to get anything. If you had something else to move the magnets, then you might actually have something. What you haven't got is perpetual motion. What you haven't got is free energy. What you have got is a marvellous little movie showing illegal research using banned magnets in New South Wales. And where else can you find local native wildlife alternative energy experts supervising banned research using illegal materials? See? They even confer